Welcome back, and we have a very special guest with us. We're going to be talking about this powerful book, God, the Here and the Hereafter. Norman, welcome.
My name is Norman Talsoe. I was born and raised in Duluth, Minnesota. Went to the university, got an electrical engineering degree, then worked with computers most of my work life. Started at UNIVAC and then went to control data and worked through control data most of the time.
Okay.
And, this book has been an tremendous impact on my life. People normally don't experience supernatural events, but I was lucky enough as a youngster to, well, in my early 20s, to have that happen. My dad, one time, he called me and said, have you had car trouble? And I said, no, why? And he hemmed and he hawed, and he says, well, I dreamt that you were coming home for Thanksgiving and your car died, your battery died. And 2 weeks later, I went home to Thanksgiving and was going to my aunt's place for Thanksgiving dinner, and the battery died, and I had to get the boat battery out of the garage to get to her house. And then, and so then we had Thanksgiving meal. And the next day I was going to go back down to Minneapolis, and the battery was dead again. And I asked my dad, well, good thing in Duluth is everything's downhill, so all they had to do was push me to an avenue, and I knew there was a gas station on the bottom. So he did that. We went down there, and I asked the guy, I says, can you give me a quick charge? Oh, by the way, this in the dream, when he started questioning me, I says, well, why are you asking all this? He says, well, I dreamt that you and Dave were going to fly out to Aspen to go skiing, and I had never told him because I didn't want him to worry, but we were. And he says, I dreamt you crashed into the mountains. And so then when he pushed me down the avenue to the gas station, and then he had said that that he had to give his car for me to drive back to Minneapolis. So we get down to the station. I says, can you give me a quick charge? He said, no, the alternator's gone. I had to take my dad's car down to Minneapolis as he prophesied. So that was my entry to prophecy, and I have no doubt in my mind there was a guardian angel that was involved.
That is quite interesting. And you just said it. Yeah, those were prophetic utterances or words of wisdom.
Oh, absolutely.
That were spoken. Yes, that is quite interesting. Now, you said something that he said. Did you go to Aspen and go skiing anyway?
Yeah, we looked at the weather, and it was sky blue and everything, and we were in a Cessna. We had to clear the mountains by 3,000 feet, which put up at 16,000 feet with no oxygen.
Okay.
And we made that part okay, and so we landed and we skied the week, and then the following Saturday we were supposed to head back, and I got up early. My partners partied harder than I did on Friday, so I wanted to ski Saturday. And I got up and started going up the mountain, and it started snowing like crazy. And there was a blackboard there, and they put messages. So my buddies called me to come down that we had to take off.
Oh my.
Yeah, well, so I trundled down there, and I could hardly see my hand in front of my face. We get in the chalet, and they said, well, let's go. And Dave said, I said, where? I said, you can't see anything. He said, oh, we'll find the hole. I said, look, I says, you may find a hole, but I'll take Aspen Airway. Go kill yourself, be my guest. So I talked them out of it, and we stayed an extra 2 days, and tremendous snow,
Yes,
and we got back okay after that. So
that is awesome. God, the here and the hereafter.
yeah, well, by that time, having had some supernatural experience, I certainly believed in the guardian angel, and I believed in God and Jesus Christ. So I had no problem with that. And the one morning, well, there was one morning I had the first vision I had was a red board with pitch black letters, and the letters said time is short. And there was like an EMP pulse that came with it that said for the return of Christ, and it essentially said that Christ is going to return in our lifetime. And so then the voice, well, I haven't got to the second dream yet. So I was aware of that, and 2 years later, I got another dream that, well, it didn't wake me up. I was, it's in that early morning deep sleep, and the voice said that it asked me to write a book, and then the voice gave me the title, and by that time I knew I was talking to God, and I was, questions right away. Why me? Why not a million other different people? Anyway, the conversation went on. He said, I would like you to write a book, and then he gave me the title, God, the Here and the Hereafter.
God, the here and the hereafter.
Yeah, and then on top of that, he says this book will help evangelize the world in the end times, because it's we are in the end times, and he wanted this book written before all hell starts breaking loose.
So you're talking about the gift of the prophetic gift, even the gift of prophecy, the gift of wisdom, the gift of knowledge, but now you're talking about vision. So you're talking about the prophetic gift of the seer.
Well, yes, and what he did when he asked me to write the book, he gives me the title and then sort of says, fill in the blanks, and I said, I said, that's impossible. I can't do that. And he says, there's no way I can do that. I said, can you give me some proof that this is coming from you rather than from my own head? And he said, okay. And then the next day at church, the sermon was on the end times, evangelizing the world.
My.
And I said, well, that helps. And I continued the discussion. And when the pastor gave that sermon, I asked him for a copy. I said, this is directly a message to me. I'd like to have that to incorporate it in the book. And so I got the copy. And then the next thing, there was a coincidence. My old secretary from Univac, which I hadn't talked to in 50 years, called me, somehow got my number. And through her, I got a link to this beautiful voice of this 10-year-old singer called Jackie Evankel.
Okay.
And so I immediately went, as she had gone platinum right away with her first album. And I looked on YouTube to find something that had not been put in publishing yet. And so I found this one song that was just beautiful. She had such a beautiful voice. She come in second on America's Got Talent.
Oh.
And she has sung with the world's opera singers. She has traveled all over since then. And of course, now she's 20 and she has no clue that she is involved in convincing me to write my book.
That is
So,
amazing. That's
so
amazing.
the long and short of the story is that, I was going back and forth. I said, well, I said, I can't do that. And the only time I heard a voice was, it said, just tell the truth. And I immediately knew it was God's truth.
Give the people information how they can get in touch with you.
Well, I guess the only way, I don't do Facebook. I got too many other things to rather than diddle
Okay,
with
how can they
Facebook.
get in touch with you?
They can send me to my email, and if I get flooded, I'm not sure how many I'll be able to answer.
Okay, what's the email address?
NTALSOE at Comcast.net.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. We want to thank you so much for being our guest. I tell you, the time just flies when we're getting into this. A powerful, powerful book. Give them the title of your book again.
God, the Here and the Hereafter.
God, the Here and the Hereafter. He's the same yesterday, today, and forever. Thank you so much for being with us.
And he is the one that gave me the title.
Yes, I'm Dr. Larry Carnes. We want to thank you for joining us, and we'll see you again next time right here.